You are stronger.
That is my God.
Never lose.
That is my God. Every battle, every battle,
You win.
every battle He wins. Yeah.
You are stronger.
He is not Goliath.
You never lose.
He is the Almighty. Every battle.
Every battle you win.
He is strong.
You are strong.
He is strong. He never
You
lose.
never lose.
Yes, welcome back, and this is part 2 or episode 2 of the journey of Perez TheRaised. As we're saying last time, we're on the episode of arriving at the hospital, and we arrived there, and they were still checking her and all those things. Oh, maybe what? No, she was in ICU.
We didn't know. We thought they were still checking.
Yeah. When we arrived, we thought she was still being checked. But as we inquired, we later discovered that she's in ICU. She has woken up, as in she's breathing. She was raised already. She's breathing, and drama has happened and all that.
We didn't know that she had passed away.
Yeah.
We didn't know. Truth is, we
We were
didn't know.
clueless.
We were just told that the kids were playing together, and as they were playing together, the grandmother moved to another room.
And
When-
had opened a
The sliding
sliding
door,
door
yeah.
that goes outside to the pool, and obviously not expecting children at that age to even try to go anywhere near a pool. So this is where you understand that this was just a device planned by the enemy to bring us down, to bring us to a place of losing our faith, similar to Job. But by the grace of God, here we are standing, and she's still breathing, because God will never let us down. We had to see that, and also other people had to see that this God that is with us is a God that supports life.
Amen.
So when she was there, we were not allowed to see her.
There's a man that came just after we were told that her grandmother got out. Like, the moment she saw that they were not there, she quickly rushed to the pool area, and when she got there, she found the brother just outside, and the girl was in the pool. Like, I didn't really hear the story, to be honest with you. At that point, I was not hearing anything. I was just hearing the pool, the hospital, like
It was a chaotic day.
I'm serious. I couldn't process information properly. It was really hard for me to process any information that I was getting. So they said, we arrived in hospital. I called Vanessa to come to call the ambulance, and they said, Vanessa said, no, we have a car. We can always use a car. So that's how confusing such a situation can be. And then they got into the car and then rushed to hospital. And I didn't know this, but I later found out that she had started changing color in the car. Like, when they were already in the car, she was going. This is information I got later. I didn't know this when I got there, that the going was in the car or from home. She wasn't responding from home or in the car. So they got to hospital. When they got to hospital, they started checking her. I might not be as accurate because I was not there. This is just a story that they told me. When they got there, they started checking her. No pulse, no pulse, no heartbeat, no response. They checked for some time, and then they asked the grandmother to excuse them because now they've gotten to, if you've watched movies before, this is some movie stuff right here. If you've watched movies before, you know that when they feel like the situation is extreme or fatal, they ask their family to excuse them so that as medical professionals they can try other means and they can, you know, get matters straight. So they asked her to excuse them, and they kept on checking. No pulse, shocking her, no pulse, no heartbeat, no response. And then she said, now they took her to, there's a man who came and said, how are you, thank you for waiting, she's in ICU right now. And I'm thinking, ICU, I thought maybe we are here to get our daughter and we go home. I really did not, because I didn't see her. I didn't think, to tell you the truth, I never took drowning as something that fatal. I thought it couldn't want the cup, you know, like as we say it in our language, you drink cups and then you're fine. You cough and you're good. I never thought. So this is more of an awareness as well that water is deadly. If not washed out for, if you don't take precautions, water can be deadly. I didn't think she would need ICU. I didn't think it was that bad because I didn't know she died. So they said, yeah, she's in ICU, give or take, she'll be out by Sunday. It's just that they need to monitor her. And I'm thinking, yeah, no, they're just going to monitor her, keep her overnight or something like that, and then we'll go home. So I said, where's the mother? Because the man had not met me yet. I arrived way later. So yeah, here's the mother. Yeah, she's the only person who will be allowed to go in and be with the baby. The rest of you, because of COVID-19 regulations, you won't be able to go in and see her. So yes, they took me to, at that time I'm just losing it. But the reality of it had not struck me yet. It was still that pain of that, oh, my daughter is in hospital, but we're going home. See? So they take us to ICU. I called her and we met by the door. And I remember he said to me, maybe he should go in. But I didn't want him to go in because of the story that he said is for another day. Because I didn't want him to experience this a second time. I felt like I have to give him a break. Although he's going through it, but I felt like I need to give him a break to go home and rest, and I will just have to be there as her mother. When I walked in, that's when it hit me, because I saw her just laying there. She was so dark. No, someone as light-skinned as her, so dark. Her hair was just messy. She was just lying there. The only sound you hear in the ICU is doop 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 doop. That was the only sound I could hear. And I felt like I'm in a different place. I felt like, no, this this is not happening, this is not real. And the nurse in charge there said to me that, hi sis, how are you? Yes, so there's your daughter there. Those machines that you're seeing there are life support. They're called life support. That thing in her mouth that you see is basically the thing that's in between her living or dying. If we remove that thing, unfortunately there won't be any air coming in, any oxygen, I mean, and she will die because she's hanging on a thread, by a thread. So I just stood there. I'm a very talkative person, but I didn't have anything to say. I didn't. So I asked her, is she going to be okay? She kept quiet for some time. You know, if you've watched movies as much as I have, you will know that a medical professional's silence means danger. And then she said, yeah, I believe she will be. She kept quiet. And I went next to the bed. When I wanted to touch her, she said to me, don't touch it. Don't touch her because you might touch her and set her off. She might be in a coma right now, but anything that she's familiar to or something that can trigger her might cause her to wake up fighting, and it might cause the pipes to go off, and if they go off, she will die. So don't touch her. So I stood there. I took out my phone and she said, don't take pictures. We don't allow that here. And I'm thinking, they're not allowing anyone to come in. So I'm the only one who's supposed to go through this and go home and explain to them. No. But she was nice, you know. She gave me a chair. She's like, yeah, just keep praying for her. I'm sure she'll be okay. And the nurse is just there handling her. I'm looking at her. I recognize her, but I don't recognize her because she looked so lifeless. She looked really lifeless. So I managed to steal a picture, and then when her dad came, I think, did the doctor come? The doctor came before he came to bring me some warm clothes because it's very cold in there. The doctor came and he said, may God bless him. May God bless him and uplift him. He's such an amazing man. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to mention names. I think I should rather not, for security reasons. But he's an amazing pediatrician and may God bless him. So he came in and he said to me, I don't know if they told you, but when your daughter was brought in, she was not responding. I looked at him and he said she was not responding. They checked her. There was no pulse. There was no heartbeat. There was no breath. They tried resuscitating her for over 40-45 minutes and there was nothing. she was not responding at all until they resorted to life support. So that is the machine that you see there. So she's on oxygen. She's not breathing on her own because we're trying to assist her and see if she will return. So they resorted to life support, and when they put on those things, that's when she started grasping for air, and then they wheeled her into ICU. So at that point, I'm confused. Reality just struck me, like it struck me like that hey, she died. And the girl that you see there, the reason she's dark was because blood circulation was no longer there. And like it just, I felt like I'm in a place where like other people are just looking at me and laughing at me, like, look at you, you believe in God, you sing about God, about his greatness. Now look at your daughter, she's just laying there. At that time, I feel like it was an evil spirit that was trying to cause me to shift, from believing in God, because my husband had already said to me, get in there and be strong for your daughter, do not break. That's what he said to me, do not break. But at that time, those thoughts came creeping in, that you are the one who's always motivating people to worship God because he's good, because he's a God who never fails. But look at your daughter. Your daughter is lying there. What can you say now? Can you stand proud and say God is good? I knew then that I had to rebuke that spirit because it was causing me to lose focus. I'm sorry. But and then the doctor continued saying to me, her grandmother says she's not sure how long your daughter was in the water. So I'm worried about the brain. These words keep ringing, like they rang for the longest time. As we go and share the story, like, I will show you how they kept ringing, because we stayed in hospital for some time and I was the only one there with her. I'm worried about the brain. He repeated these words a lot, that the brain needs oxygen, and if oxygen is not going to the brain for a certain amount of time, it loses its functionality. So even if your daughter wakes up, I'm worried she might be brain damaged. So I looked at him, and the Holy Spirit comforted me that God did not allow her to die. God brought her back. So if God brought her back, what is the brain to him? He is the creator of heaven and earth. At that time, the Holy Spirit is busy comforting me. And when Jesus said, I will leave you the Holy Spirit and it will comfort you, The Holy Spirit comforted me. He became my friend. The friend that had left me for some time because I had allowed that evil thought to roam around my mind. He came back and he comforted me that God created your daughter in his image and likeness. And if God creates something in his image and likeness, it is not brain damaged. It is not. I immediately blocked out those words. I'm worried about the brain. I blocked them out. And I believed that God is able. I believe that God has done it, and that's it. No other report mattered to me. So that day was very hard. It was so hard for me. It was so hard. You know, when you're in hospital and you see your loved one in such a critical state, you know the words they said to me, she's critical but stable. Critical but stable is not good words to hear. It's not good words to hear at all, because you know that it can go either way. It can go either way. So everything was just happening. They were busy turning it, doing this and that. There's this lady who comes in. I need to take a COVID-19 test. I need to take, I was just going through a lot. Like, get away from me. Like, stop everything that you're doing. It was just too much for me. And yeah, we need to swab her for COVID, and we want the money up front. I want money. You're not using medical aid. Money. Everyone is just coming in. They want stickers. You see, if you've been to a private hospital before, you know there's those stickers that they print out. Every person who comes to say hi, they take that sticker. They're going to claim money. So in this case, it was super hard because this lady wants money. She's telling me it's 800 and something. That much money for a COVID swab. She's like, I need to take COVID. I'm calling my husband. COVID. I'm calling my mom. COVID test. My husband's like, why should they take it? Why? I just felt like I'm dreaming. You know, the point where you feel like you're dreaming and you would just go and wake up. I felt like it's going to happen. It felt like the longest dream. And it wasn't happening. It was hard. I remember she was going through a lot of diarrhea. So they were saying to me, she's busy passing out the water. It was a lot. I realized that saying the cup, drank cups, she drank a lot of cups, because they would change her and then water again, change her. Like, it was not even like 5 minutes apart. It was just continuous. They were saying, yeah, it's a good thing that there's diarrhea, like a lot of water, because it shows that her system is cleaning out. But I still didn't have knowledge of those things. I still didn't understand what they all entailed. I didn't understand anything, to be honest with you. That water is infectious. I had no idea that water infects you. I didn't know. So there are things that you'll be learning as time goes as well, because there are so many things that we don't know. I can't call it ignorance, but I feel like we are not paying attention to certain information, especially when we raise kids. Like, we need to know there's safety precautions and everything when you are around kids. So I was helping the nurse just wipe her and everything, and apply body lotion on her. It was Vaseline, because Velo, we use Vaseline on our kids. So we applied everywhere except for the face. And then the nurse went out, and when the nurse went out, I realized that she looks dry, like her face looked dry. You know, I just wanted to help her. Her face looked dry, and you see when you've been in water and then you go out in the sun, like when you are in water that has chlorine, like pool water, and then you go out in the sun, the type of burning that your skin undergoes, and it starts like looking like it's cracking. So she looked like that. So I took Vaseline, and I applied it on her face. I don't know, that maybe when I was applying the Vaseline on her face, I shifted some pipe or something. I don't know. I don't think I did. I just applied, and she had her first episode of fits. She started feeding, and she was like just feeding, and like things were coming out of her mouth. And I panicked. The nurse came in there. He started shouting at me, saying, "What did you do? Did you apply Vaseline on her face?" I said, "Yeah, she looked like she was cold," because that place was very cold. She looked like she was very cold, and I wanted to help. He's like, "Shouldn't have done that," but he's being polite at the same time. He didn't want to make me feel like he was being unfair and all of that. But at the same time, he's shouting at me, and I'm a concerned mother. I feel like he's being unfair, because this is my child that's laying there, and she looks cold. I'm a mother. I know she looks cold. I feel that she's cold. If I am cold, she is definitely cold. So I needed to do something. But now it seems like my actions have caused her to have fits, and it was just the longest thing I had to see my daughter go through. It was really hard. He started like turning her, doing things. It was just so crazy. The machines were going. It was the lady wanting to do the COVID swab is busy saying, "Sissy, can we do it now? Will they bring the money now? We want the money." I couldn't. I just broke down. I started calling my husband. I told him, they are giving me a hard time. This lady wants a COVID swab. She wants money. And Perez is doing these things that I don't understand. I didn't know it was fit then. I just said wabu, but she's doing things that I don't understand, and she has foam coming out of her mouth, and the nurse is busy shouting at me. And he said to me, "Calm down." You know, he's very calm. He's a very calm person. I'm sure you can tell. So he said to me, "Calm down. Maybe you shouldn't have done it, or maybe you should have asked for permission." So I said, "She was cold. What was I supposed to do?" And he said, "I understand that she was cold. I understand that, but because of the state that she's in, like it's advisable that you maybe ask next time to avoid such things." So like he just calmed me down, and he said, "Remember that you're supposed to be strong for her. You're supposed to be there and have a positive energy. So that is what you must portray." So yeah, I calmed down, and they managed to stabilize her. They didn't really explain to me what those things were, and I didn't ask because I felt responsible because of applying Vaseline on her face. So I think I've done enough crying for the day. It's I may be crying, but I need you to understand that these are not really tears of pain, but I don't know if I should, what type of tears I should call them, joy or just thankfulness, grateful tears, because I went through this and we still have her. She's in the room sleeping right now. So it's just an emotional experience for me. It's very emotional for us. I know he doesn't really cry, but I know that it's hard for him because they were very close. She loved him so much. She would rather go to him than to me. But God saved her for us. So you need to understand that when you're coming for the next part, these are not tears of pain per se. I'm grateful to God. I have seen him, and this experience changed me. It birthed a different woman. It made me grow up. I grew up in this experience. Through this experience, I grew up. I'm no longer that person that some of you knew. I'm no longer that Mrs. Angelic. Even my kids know that I'm no longer that mother that they used to have, because I went through this and God held my hand. He's still holding our hand, and He's keeping the family afloat. You know, hearing her make those sounds that she makes every morning, I wake up with a joyful heart, with a grateful heart that she's still with us and she's striving. She's not going anywhere. So see you next time for the next part, because we can't put it all in one video. You also need time to digest, but God is good. He's a big God. He's full of love. He changed our story. This is Miss Angelic and the Angelic Commander, bringing to you the story of how God raised our daughter from the dead. Perez TheRaised Queen. Goodbye. See you next time.
Stay blessed.
Amen.
Hi guys, I'm Perez Nokeri and I am Perez's aunt. So I will be sharing my side of the story based on what happened on the 5th of March 2021. On this specific day, the kids they were with my mom in the morning. So what would happen was, as Mrs. Angelic has already mentioned, that it would be with us from Monday to Friday and spend the weekend with their parents and so on and so on. So I was always with Perez. She had become my baby girl, in fact, of which at first I didn't want. I'm not gonna lie, but let's not get into that. But yeah, a bond was created because I was the one looking after her and the boy was basically under my mother's care. On this specific day, on the Thursday, the kids slept with my mother. This is because I was coming from, like, I had a journey before. I was coming from somewhere, so on this day, on Thursday night, they slept with my mother. And then Friday morning, they woke up and she decided, it's morning, you have to open the door, the windows, do the bed and everything. So they were sleeping in our guest room. The guest room basically has a sliding door, which is towards the pool side. And it has two doors. It has a door inside and a door outside, which you can actually walk out, and it goes exactly to or straight to the pool. So what happened on this day, she opened the sliding door, she opened, you know, all the windows and everything, and just trying to do or change the sheets on the bed. And she noticed that the fitted sheet was not big enough. It was actually small. As she explains, there'll probably be a voice note where she's talking or explaining her side of the story, but as she explains that the kids were sitting right by the sliding door, you know, and she saw them like, okay, cool. So she then decided to come over to my room, and she asked if there was a fitted sheet. And I said, no, there isn't any fitted sheet here. And she said, okay, I've run the water for the kids. Can you please bath them since I want to be busy? And I remember I was busy on my phone, and she said, and I replied and said, no problem, I'll bath them. And in my head, as I was busy, I'll go now, you know. And yeah, I was busy, I'll go now. So anyway, she left, and then when she thought, okay, let me go and check in my room, in her own room, and she went upstairs. And as I continued being on my phone, in about 10 to 15 minutes, that's when I heard someone call my name, like 10 to 15 or 15 to 20, I can't really remember exactly, but our helper called my name, like, Fanisa, Wana Udaronile, what Wana Wile Matini, said Wana Wile Matini, for an ambulance. And I remember I started pacing up and down, and I thought, call an ambulance, we have a car, you know, let's just rush to medical clinic. And then later on, it rang also in that, like, I think in my mother's mind, or I don't know, but I remember them saying, no, actually, she says start the car, you know. And they came over, and my mom had Perez, and she was busy like heating her bag. Okay, like I said, she'll explain her side. And then so we left, we drove to, we're not dressed, like we didn't, okay, we're dressed, but we didn't have shoes on. And we quickly rushed to medical clinic, got there, and I remember her getting off because I was driving, she got off the passenger seat, and she's like, okay, I don't want to replay that, but okay, she's like, please help us, like the kid just drowned. And they took Perez, and they went into the, what do you call, casualty, or the ER, I don't know exactly what it's called. They went there, and my mom got off, and I drove around to pack the car. So I packed the car, got off. At that time, we didn't even care it was covered, or about COVID or anything. It was like we didn't have masks on, and we just went in, and the doctors were busy with her. And the next thing I remember thinking, we don't have masks, we don't have money, we don't have anything on us. Let me rush home. And then she said to me, go and check Enoch, the brother, you know, where is he? Did they take him? And then so I said, okay. I rushed back home. I got home, and okay, they were about to bath him. As I mentioned, that my mom had run water for them to bath, so they were about to bath him. And I took shoes, I took masks, I took, all the necessary things, and then I rushed back to the hospital. When I got there, they hadn't gotten out, or they still had nothing to say to us. So I got there, and I sat next to my mother, and we're not even talking to each other. We're just in our own different worlds. And I remember thinking to myself, the parents don't know, but we can't call the parents yet because we don't have a yes or a no. We don't have a black or a white. Like, what am I gonna say? And then the lady from, like, I don't know if it's a nurse or she's a doctor, she came out, and she said to us that like, no, she didn't have anything to say to us. They were still busy trying. They can't find a pulse. There's no pulse. They can't find a pulse, but we were doing our best. She rushed back in, and then she rushed back in. And I think this is the moment that then I started like walking up and down. I started pacing, and I started praying. And I remember that, as I told you guys, that I had traveled. I don't know if I mentioned, I'm not sure anymore. As I mentioned that I had traveled somewhere, like I didn't sleep with them that Thursday because I was coming back from somewhere. So we're driving back with my brother on the Thursday, and the Perez father. And he was saying to me, he was busy preaching to me in the car, and he said to me that we're talking about death, as he's mentioned before, that he doesn't believe in dying, that you die because you believe I eventually have to die, you know, I have to die eventually. So he was telling me about that, and he said to me, I'm like, okay, what about kids? When kids die, what about, like, what's the story there, since they don't believe yet? It's like their parent or a guardian is in charge. They believe for them. So as a parent, if you believe that your child will die, the child will die. Like, I don't know how to explain this, but yeah, basically it's up to the parents for kids whether they're gonna live or die. That's what he was saying to me. So then I'm like, okay. So I remember when I was pacing down the hospital, that was ringing in my head that, God, this is a baby. She doesn't choose yet, or she can't choose for herself yet whether she wants to live or die. The parents don't know yet, but I know, and I'm here, and I'm gonna stand in the gap, and I'm gonna pray and believe that this child will not die. I am choosing on her behalf that she's going to live. And I remember saying these words, going, there would be like some thoughts of doubt, and I'm like, I speak against doubt. She's going to live. And eventually the lady came out again, and I remember she saw, I don't know what expression I had on my face. She's like, calm down. And she's like, no, we managed to get a pulse. And I remember the relief. And she's like, we I don't know, but yeah, I just remember them saying they got a pulse. And yeah, but they're still doing their best. Chances are 50-50. Yes, this is the time to say the chances are 50-50. And okay, cool. Then I started praying again. But now I was more hopeful, because 50-50, the God that I serve, can do more than that. So then eventually a doctor came, this white doctor. I don't know if the lady was a doctor, but I'm sure that the man was a doctor. And he came out and he asked me who I was. And like, they would first talk to my mom, then eventually come to me. So he asked me who I was, and I told them I was the aunt. And they say to me that no, no, she's alive. She's under, like, what do you call the things that keep you alive if you're not, what do you call, I'm trying to think of the name. I don't know why it's, yeah guys, English, life support. Yes. So, and he's like these were the words he said to me. He's like, I'm not gonna lie to you, this is a miracle. Because she was gone. She was gone. I'm not going to lie to you, this is a miracle. The only worry that I have, I'm not gonna mention the worry, but I'm sure the parents will. But I remember whatever else that is said after that didn't matter to me. It was like, the fact that he said this is a miracle, to me was like, whatever that you say after that, whatever that you worried about is already sorted, because she's alive. She's not awake, but she's alive. There's a heartbeat, and the life support is keeping her. And for the fact that that you didn't do that, but someone else above you did that, he will still do more than that. He'll still do way beyond that, And yeah, that's when finally I had the guts. And now my mom's like, call the parents, call the mom, and tell them to come. And I remember, I know before that, the one of the nurses, the admin people, asked me, when is Perez's birthday? And I had forgotten. And that's when I called the mom and I asked her. I had to act so normal, like, how are you, or like, yeah. And then I asked her, when is Perez's birthday? And she's like to me, yo man, so excited. She's like, yo man, not on Shara birthday already. Yo, it's too early. Like, she was very excited. It's too early to buy her a gift. And I'm like, Irene, like, when is it? And then she told me, I'm like, okay, go, it's fine. And I hung up. And then that's when, yeah, time went by. And then eventually I decided to call again. And this is when my mom said, call them and let them know. And then I called the mom and I told her that I rushed to Mediclinic. And she asked me why, what's going on? Is Perez fine? Like, I'm like, yeah, she's fine. Because at that moment I was also very hopeful. Now I felt like, yeah, you can come. Like, she's alive. And I didn't say that, but yeah, I felt like that. Like, yeah, no, everything's fine. Just come to Mediclinic. And they came. They were on their way here. I didn't call my brother. My mother called my brother. So yeah, that's what happened. they arrived eventually. I'm sure the rest of the story they will share, but yeah, that is basically the part that's my part, the part that I got to experience. And one thing I know or remember is that I never shed a tear throughout the process, because I felt like me shedding a tear would mean that I don't believe that he can save her, you know. But yeah. So, but what I would like to add on to that was that for the longest time, I felt like if there's anything that the devil has, or if life has ever hit me, let me say life rather, that this was the most it hit me, and it knew exactly where to hit me, because I felt so powerless, and I felt, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be sharing this, but I felt like she was under my care, you know, like I failed her, like I disappointed her. And I'm sure the parents don't know this, so, but I guess this is the first time that they'll be hearing exactly how I felt throughout the whole process. Despite me knowing that everything happens for a reason and God is in charge and is in control, but I felt like I failed her. Because, like I said, I was the one taking care of her, and my mom would be taking care of the boy. And yeah. So that's from my side, and yeah, that's it from me.